Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Enigmatica 6 Let's Play series. So today there are a couple of things that I kind of wanted to just look into and see about getting done. A lot of them are going to be pretty highly technical, and a couple of them are just going to be some quality of life changes. On the note of quality of life changes, the very first thing that I would like to get into today is improving our sword. So we still have a forgotten sword. This is from the Undergarden mod. And if you remember last time I was looking into it and I was like, I don't know, I kind of like it. I'd have to move everything off of this. I don't know, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't. I definitely think that we will end up doing that because I think that would just be really fun. I don't really have any preference over the fact that it has less durability because of all the other things that we have on here. So I thought I would show you how I tend to extract these things. So we're going to extract them from the book or from the enchanted items to a book. And the book is going to go into storage. Just like so. And now we have a couple of things that we'll probably still want to get off of there. So the nice thing about the enchantment library is that I can go through and pick what I want. So if we already have sharpness 7, I don't need that again. So I'm going to go through and pick out these things really quickly, and then we can figure out how to remove some of the beneficial effects like this attack speed off of this sword. Okay, so I got absolutely everything set back up on here exactly as expected. So if we go for this, you'll see we'll have the Smite 7, Teleportation, Unbreaking 5, Vorpal 5, Looting 3, Mending, and Scavenger. So that already makes this sword incredible. We went from 13 or 12.5 to 14.5 damage, and that's not calculating smite even in the slightest bit. But there's also a couple of other things that we can do. So we, if I remember correctly, the attack speed modifier is a rare affix, I think. So what we can do is the following. Rare or weaker, maybe not. Let's take a look at something like mythic or epic. Okay, maybe we can't remove that at all. I haven't been able to tell at all. I'd be pretty interested to see what all we might be able to put on here, like the movement speed improvements, but I'm not seeing much by way of that, so we might just have to stick with what we've got. Movement speed, max health. Should probably put these in the enchantment library. So then let's see what other weapons and tools we may have. So if we wanted to take a look at some of these different items, some of them are just enchanted items, of course, that we need to disenchant. I forgot that I had this. Why do I have a second one? I don't remember why I have a second one. We should probably disenchant that as well, huh? So in the end, there are a couple of these. So if I looked at, we're looking for sword enchantments or sword modifiers. So let's take a look at swords. Well, it looks like I don't really have anything. Okay, well that, oh wait, no, it wouldn't be called sword. It would have a custom name, so never mind. Let's see what I can find. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I opted for instead was moving everything from my Knowledge of the Ages for Find Obsidian sword onto the other sword. That way we can at least keep it around and have it kind of still be pretty helpful to us. I need to add that sword here because it is now a different sword. So what we'll do is if we put that back, we can go here and we should see that sword. Perfect. Okay, so for the remainder of today's episode, I'd like to get into creating ourselves a tree farm, something that will just kind of sit around running for the entirety of the time, and something that's a little bit more complicated than this little setup here, because, I mean, while this works and this is great, you know, our tree supplies and stuff, they're pretty limited, so I'd love to come up with some sort of a tree farm, possibly even double that and scale it out to a... lots of words there. Scale it out even to be a crop farm as well, maybe a mixture of maybe one or two of them. So getting this set up is not going to be too very complicated. You could do it the way that a lot of modern Minecrafters like to do it, and I can understand the convenience and the lack of lag and the whatnot, but this is my own single-player world, so I frankly don't care if the world explodes, because I take regular backups, and if my frame rate drops to, you know, all the way down to 0, then so be it. Looks like I forgot to fix up that hole from the Wandering Trader last episode. So, what I would like to do is look into industrial foregoing. So if we look at industrial and take a look at the, what is it called? It's not the planter, it is the plant gatherer and the plant sower. I'm not going to give much attention to the plant fertilizer. I don't really think that that's going to be all that necessary. It'll be plenty fast enough for us. And I'm also going to look at XNet. XNet is an incredible mod for this setup. And I'm probably going to create a couple of these controllers and a couple of other various cablings and things. That way we will be good to go. So what we're going to need is not one, but two, if we're going to double this, which I think we really should, 2 fluid trash cans. I apparently had buckets in there, and so it didn't really care about using mine. I see how it is. So we're going to need 2 buckets. We're going to need 2 controllers. So if we take a look at the... Oh, which one is it? Here we go. The XNet controller. That's not too terrible. Let's go and just keep a stack of these around at all times. It's one of those things that I probably should just have auto crafting at this point, and I've been kind of slacking on that front. So if we do 2 machine frames, we can dive into 2 controllers from XNet. We're also going to need Flux points. We already have 1. We're going to need another one. Oh, I think that's a new recipe. I do not remember that being such a hardcore difficulty. Interesting choice. I mean, Flux Networks is superior, so I kind of get it, but at the same time, the reason I've been using Flux Networks is because Powa is so incredibly unreliable that it's out of necessity more than anything. So we can grab 2 Flux points. I think that should be plenty. Oh, it looks like neither of these have been configured. And then we will need a plant sower, a plant gatherer, and that both of these are pretty straightforward. I feel like we only have 2 pity machine frames, if not, yeah, okay. So we're gonna need 4 in total. No problem there, it looks like. We're gonna need 2 axes, pickaxe. Oh, that was a hoe, whoops. And the plant sower is a flower pot, which I know I did not have. Let's go ahead and request 2 pistons. Oh, you know what? We needed 4 pistons. No. And let's head over to mechanism, because I think there are a couple of things we may end up having to process over here. Namely the gears. I'd like to keep on the cheaper side. So these require in-bar. And we're going to need 16 to make 4 gears, because we have to do it twice. Gear mold? Did I never make that? Did I never use that? Okay, that's something I should do. Let's grab 4 more of these. And a gear. Because gears are something we craft a lot, so it just kind of makes sense that we go ahead and use one of these here. I'll grab an item, what is it called? This thing, the rack. I love having these around just for putting stuff up on. Wow, you are very slow, unaugmented. Like, very slow, my man. Thermal integral. How about wood? Okay, screw it. Oh, you're Constantin? No. Oh, you just changed on me. I see. We'll do that. And that'll help a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now we can do Oh yeah, we will need another flower pot, and we're finally getting to use that plastic that we've been generating for so long, so that's ideal. And for a plant gatherer, we will need gold. I know that there are options or opportunities to use other resources. I frankly just don't really need them, if I'm going to be honest with you. We do so well on our materials that we just tend not to need stuff like that. I am going to make this high flux coil as well, just to help speed us up, because this is painfully slow. Especially for something we could be crafting if I wasn't just being kind of stingy. And this makes it a little more automatable in the future, you know? So, plant gatherer. And I believe, yeah, we're going to need another set of tools, because I messed that up as well. At least this time I won't make another pickaxe. So there we go. This is the majority of what we're going to need to get this done. Now, if we also take a look at Industrial Foregoing, there is an upgrade system, and you can see we already have an add-on, but there are also range upgrades, and we're going to need to use some of those. So, ooh, why did it take us all the way over there? I think it's because I misclicked, actually. So we're going to need to come over here and use our good old Dissolution Chamber. It looks like it has been out of juice for a little while. Does that mean this is out of juice? Let's see. Come on. My hunch is that our entire controller is out of juice. Yep. And that would be because you're still using one of these guys. Like I said, not really reliable. So we can create another flux point to resolve that. No, that doesn't really help. There we go. We will do that. And we can continue to borrow this. And I'll also have to just jumpstart this really quickly. Like so. And now that it's been jump-started, it's going to start kicking off the power transfer to all of our machinery, which is perfect. So I'll go ahead and fill this all back in. Okay, I may have done too good of a job filling things back in. There we go. So we need to use our handy-dandy Dissolution Chamber to get this going. And so what we would have to do... Why did I go over? I forget that I have a portable grid. I've been playing on my own single player for testing, and it's for custom pack. And that pack is designed to be difficult. So I don't have a portable grid yet. I can't afford that. So I'm not used to this. I've been playing on that pack pretty much nonstop unless I am working. So sorry if I make any dumb mistakes like that again, because it's bound to happen. Anyways, so we're going to need some range upgrades, or range add-ons is what they're called. So I'm thinking for a reasonably good farm, we would probably just want to go for the tier 10, because we're good on diamonds. We have tons of them. Taking a look here, we're good on diamonds. So we would need one for every one of our machines. So we need 4 of these. We're going to need some glass panes. We're going to need more glass panes than that if I... No, we're actually going to be okay. And we're going to need some redstone. And most importantly, we are going to need latex. Fortunately, we have a gigantic supply of it, so we are doing great. Now, whenever I have to make something in bulk like this is what I like to do. I like to set the recipe up, and then if you click the lock, it will basically leave a ghost behind so that all you have to do is shift-click your recipe in instead of it just kind of guessing. It looks like we will need 1 bucket for every one of these. And that should do us. There we go. Okay, so let's get this whole system set up. I think this should be pretty straightforward to do, so hopefully we can get it done pretty quickly. Oh, you know what? I forgot probably the most important thing of all. We're going to need tanks and ender chest. We need an ender chest, and I believe our color is cyan? Yep, okay. So we can grab cyan. I'm just going to share the one between all of these. We'll pick out our saplings once we get there. That I'm not too concerned about. And we're going to need a tank or two. So I'm thinking mechanism would probably be fine, unless we wanted to go for a black hole tank, because we do have the ability to craft another one of these pretty easily, and that would be a good bit of storage. And it would also fit with the theme of the mod. So the black hole tank will hold 64 buckets, and you might be wondering, whoa, this is just farming. 64 buckets of what? What could it possibly be? Well, if you don't know, if you don't remember the old Mine Factory Reloaded days, that 64 buckets is of sludge. And the reason I had the food trash cans is because the sludge will eventually, if not taken care of, cause machines to slow down. So what we're going to do is prioritize the tank first. So if we ever grab sludge for whatever reason, we can grab it and it'll refill. And if the tank is full, then instead of it backing into the system, it will go into the fluid trash can so that we don't ever have to worry about it again. Obviously, we have the headroom to make like mechanism multi-block tanks if we really wanted to. I just find that to be kind of overkill. So at this point, I don't really know where to set a lot of these things up anymore. I'm thinking probably this area over here where we did the Gaia Guardian stuff, just to help spread things out a little bit. Because at this point, I'm starting to get more and more concerned each day that we are crowding our stuff a little bit too closely. So maybe we do the tree farm in this area, I think would probably be just fine. So I'm going to take down these trees, ironically enough, and we can set these up. So I'm thinking we could do a tiered setup. And what I can do is, if we take a plant gatherer, this is the guy who's going to cut down your trees. It's going to cut down any of your crops or whatnot. And I don't remember the exact block range. So if I put this upgrade in and then show working area, we can see the entire space that it's going to work in. So I can tell you right now that that is enormous, and I think that'll be just fine. I can come in and fill this area in with some grass. And that should help this out a little bit. Oh, come on. I wish it wouldn't zoink like that, just completely zoop. But I also, very much appreciate it when traveling. I just wish there was a way to turn it off. So, if we fill this area in, obviously what I'll probably do is decorate this with some concrete or something, sort of blocking this area off and making sure that it is kept clear of mobs and stuff, to a sense. And we can also light it up really nicely. But what you can see is, I think... Okay, so if we start here, and we can take care of all of this, that is the entirety of... I wish this would show a little more reliably, but that is the entirety of where this would be. So this is a lot of space for a lot of crops or trees or whatnot. So it's definitely something to consider, that we're going to need probably a good bit of storage in our buffer. I may go ahead and make another ender chest, because I believe we're going to not have enough space between our setups here. So let's craft a... Ooh, we're getting low on the acacia I traveled or transferred over. That's ideal. We'll do another one of these and more cyan dye. Oh, you can just turn appetite into it. Well, that's actually pretty helpful. This little guy over here has a lot to say. What can I say? So what we can do is the following setup. I'm going to do this once, and then I'll clone the setup for the other farm off camera, and we'll come back and review some of the stuff that we do, and then we can decorate it up and make it look really good. So I would like to have the following setup. First of all, it's important that whatever trees and whatever saplings and whatnot that we plant have a corresponding storage setup. And what I can probably do... did I forget to put range on you? I think I may have forgotten range, because this isn't particularly helpful. You can see we have tons of storage for tons of stuff, but whatever we put in here, we need to make sure that we have set up. So it's probably a good idea to go ahead and decide what kinds of trees we want to automate, and that way we can start to migrate things over that aren't already in here, and take care of the saplings as well, because saplings and apples and sticks are going to fill up like crazy. So if we took that, sticks we're going to definitely get a lot of. We can go ahead and kind of put places in here for this. So if we have apples and sticks, we know we're going to get that. Let's go ahead and expect to do probably oak in one corner. So what you end up getting with the plant, this guy, the plant sower, is a configuration where you can configure. If you think of these little slot colors as the corresponding directions here, if I put oak here, that means that in this quadrant, or it's not really a quadrant because there's more than 4, but in this space over here, let's say this was, a big old 9x9 area, this 3x3 over here would be occupied with only oak saplings. So this is how we can subdivide our farm up without it just being random chance. So I'm definitely thinking oak, dark oak. I'm thinking of other things because we can subdivide up to 9 times, so that means we can have 9 types of saplings. I would normally do spruce, but I'm a little concerned about giant trees, so what I may end up doing is just doing a frosty blossom sapling instead, because those are really gorgeous. And so what I'm going to do is start setting up a drawer over here, because these are locked if you'll recall, so I can put stuff in, take everything out, and it's just going to be fine. We can do that. Let's see. And then from there, that would be, what, 3 types of saplings? I mean, we could just go with the 3, but I know I build with other types as well at times. So let's take a look at maybe... We have tons of aspen. I don't know. Let me take a look and I'll decide. Okay, so I've gotten 5 saplings figured out so far. I'm going to go ahead and sleep because the area we're working in is not protected by any of the specialty torches or anything. And then if we take a look over here, I will probably get a travel anchor set up for this area. We can do that really quickly. Travel anchor. And we'll just put that right here. Industrial farming. Beautiful. So I made a extra upgrade, and that is a speed upgrade, and that's going to increase the speed here, as you could probably have guessed just by the wording. And so what I need to do is, if we have the measuring tape, we sure do. If I hold down, is it in? No, it's in blocks mode already. Good, good. So if I... What's the thing to clear it? Oh, you have to right-click on a block. Okay, so if we right-click there... No? Has it changed? No, it hasn't. I am going to see how many blocks long this is. This is 20 blocks? That can't be... That can't be correct. This little guy here is making it hard to think. Okay, that's what I thought. It's 21. I don't know why it says 20. It's 21. So somehow the bit calculator has also become really bad at counting. So we need to go 10 blocks each direction. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Because that should leave us with 11 torches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 5, 10, 11. So this is the middle, and then the middle this way is just whatever lines up. Perfect. And the reason we needed to know that is that we need to put our plant sower down here. Now the plant sower can be submerged 1 block, which is incredibly helpful to know. And you can also lock the input so that only the things that are already defined in there can stay in there. And that is what I'm going to do right now as I set this up, because I like to dedicate 1 stack to each slot that I set up. So because I only have, what, how many saplings do I have? I've got 5 different saplings. The way I see it is it would make the most sense if we did them in a T-shape such that any of the bigger, these bigger saplings are spaced out, because a lot of these will grow pretty large. And then we can do oak in everything else. Which one was that? That was holly. And then, like I said, I personally like to keep these nice and distributed, perfectly matching what they have inside. That way, when these get inevitably used up, we're still okay. We're good to go. So I am going to dig out a small tunnel some meat over here, like so. And we're going to slap an XNet connector on this guy. And then we can cover it up. Because the XNet connector is going to do its job. And we can go ahead and... I need to clear this really quickly and put this away. I can't believe that it couldn't measure that correctly. Unless I misclicked on the first block, but I really don't think I did. Okay, so we already have... Oops, no. Oh, and I did miss a pretty important detail here. We also need to have our range upgrade put in this. So, distractions aside, we want to have the following. We're going to want a black hole tank, probably here, to tell us what we're storing and how much we have of it, and eventually we can sync it up to our main inventory of stuff. We'll want probably, I'm trying to think of the most efficient way to set this up using the absolute least number of connectors possible, because that's just how I am. Oh, you know what we can do? Here's what we can do. If we put this here, we can place our XNet controller here, because it's going to need a connector. We can place fluid trash here. And then we can put this here. And, oh, and we'll also need power input. I think flux points work directly. Maybe not. Interesting. Okay. We'll need a capacitor then, or some sort of capacitor-like item. So I usually just go for the IE capacitors because they are very compatible. So if we put that there, this here, we grab our morphing tool and we tell opposite side to be input, this side to be output, then you're going to see it's going to start to fill up, which is good. And what we can do is, I'll put this other one here, flux point selected network main power, just to kickstart our system here. You see it's got just a very small amount, and we're going to create an energy network. And what it's going to do is it's going to start by extracting into that and inserting into here. Boom. We're also going to insert into these guys. Now, from here, like I said, we're going to want, we already have our fluid trash can. We are going to want one more connector to go to there, and one more that goes here, even though it's kind of redundant, and that's okay. And I'm just going to access our connector here. So we're going to want to do the following. We're going to want to extract, or I guess we're going to want to start with a item channel. We're going to want to extract from the plant gatherer, so we will extract. And then we're going to insert into this guy with the highest priority. So we're going to give it 1024 priority. So if we can't insert into the plant sower, then we're going to insert into the ender chest instead. So that handles our item transport. Now we need one more for fluid transport. So we're going to do one here for xnet.fluid. We will extract from here, insert into our black hole tank with the highest priority. Once again, 1024 should work. And insert into here on the lowest priority of 0. You can do negative numbers as well. From here, I meant to extract in stacks because that's all that really matters. And here we're going to extract in 4,000 millibuckets at a time, I guess, because why not? And we should see that you have power. Good. You should have nothing to plant, really, but you have power. And if we take a look at the working area, you should see that it perfectly matches the same of that we had already set up before. And so I think it's going to try to reserve one stack at a time anyways. But if I give you a bunch of these, that works. And a bunch of these, we should see these start to plant. Now, I don't know that it's going to be able to replace some of these blocks, so I think it can do tall grass. I don't know if I can do like some of these specialty blocks, so I'm going to clear out any of these that I find just to help it along, keep it from running into any issues. Obviously, my little measuring torches here cannot stay, but you can see it's just going to start to sit here and work. So what I'm going to do is create some phytogrow. This stuff is pretty cheap and very helpful for testing. So we'll do maybe like 16. Or sorry, 32. And because you've got this speed upgrade, you're going to be pretty fast to pick up any trees that try to grow. And you can see it already has picked up at least one because we've already got sludge in here, which is good. So if I were to grow a tree, we should see the whole thing disappear. And if things are working as expected, that should also mean that our guy down here, which I forgot to... No, it's this one that I forgot to stop showing the working area of. This guy should have received every one of those saplings, if possible. That is sort of the question. I don't know if it did or not, but we'll find out. So this should hopefully work on a lot of these modded trees. Yep, working just fine on the Frosty Blossom saplings. And these drop a bunch of saplings, so that will be very ideal because it can basically self-replenish itself pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go through, did not mean to grow that. I'm going to go through and grow a couple of these trees just to kind of help it along and make sure that everything is working as expected. That is a dark oak, so that won't work. So it's even handling this whole big tree here. That's incredible. Yep, and there it goes. There goes the whole thing. Oh, we are going to get a lot of holly berries. I think we should have extra space in here. Good, good. So running back over here to the industrial farming area, I think this setup is complete. I don't see any reason to say that it's not. Everything seems to be working. We're already up to a bucket of sludge, and this is just going to be ever increasing. And as it nears 64 buckets here, we're just going to eventually start voiding any excess, which is perfectly fine with me because sludge isn't used for a lot. There is the Sludge Refiner. This guy can produce a handful of different kind of utility outputs, things that are kind of useful, like well, how do I describe this? There are some pseudo-useful items in the game, like soul sand, dirt, things that like you never can figure out a great way to automate, or maybe you can, but it's not the absolute end-all be-all. But you still want to find something that sort of works, so it's a good opportunity to like have a automation source for some of these more annoying to automate resources, especially soul sand. Soul sand is a nightmare to automate. So, as promised, I'm going to set up the same setup once again, but for seeds. I'll do all of the inventory stuff as well so that you don't have to sit here and watch me clown around with this. And then when we get back, we can decorate these up and make them look like they have a reason to be here and they're not just kind of a weird little grassy platform full of a bunch of saplings. Ooh, let's see how the dark oak works. It should work fabulously. That's my guess. Yep, absolutely devoured that tree. Good, good. Okay, so I got the other farm here set up. You can see that there are still a couple of little components here and there that could use some work, like there's still some water peeking in, because you have to manually till and hydrate all the soil here. But as you can see, everything is set up. There was a slight difference in the setup and configuration for this design that was different. I don't need a bunch of seeds, and I was storing a couple hundred, and in total I was storing over like 2,000 or 3,000 seeds for the commonly harvested seed stuff, like what we have over here in this little farm pocket over here, this area. All of these seeds I'd been storing, which was useful for getting this set up, but now that it's automated, I don't need a buffer of seeds. So this setup was a little bit different. If we look at the controller here, the main difference, you can see the energy thing is the same. The main difference is this guy is going to extract only the seeds and the poisonous potato. It will try to insert it into plant sower first, and if it can't, then it goes into this ultimate trash can I made, which will accept power, fluid, and items. So this is going to handle items, as you could imagine. So if we have an excess in any of these items that isn't already filled up in the plant sower, it's going to be deleted. Everything else is the same. This is the same as this, but inverted. So it's everything that's exactly here is here except the opposite because it's in blacklist mode. So that means any potatoes, any carrots, they're going to try to go into here first because these are not seeds and I don't want to void excess. And then lastly, anything else, like literally anything else, we'll try to, fluid-wise, we'll try to extract from here. I'm sorry, literally anything else would be covered by this. But here, the fluids are going to be extracted, inserted into here first, and then the trash can later. So I think that's got us handled. So I've been spending some time thinking of how I'd like to decorate this, and I do think I want to keep with the industrial theme and the industrial look. However, as you can already tell, I am kind of running out of space. So I'd love to look into ways that we could possibly improve that situation. Why do we have so many saplings and so few planted? That's interesting. You can take that. That should help the holly situation. I'm still so tickled with how well this entire build is working out so far. But this is going to be a lot of tree and a lot of wood. So what I'm thinking is that rather than building an outline, I think I'm going to build an indent. In other words, I'm gonna cut in one layer around the outline here, and then in the center of each of our quadrants, or the center-ish, because I know I don't think it will be perfectly centered anymore, we can add some lighting. So we'll do that. So then, using, come on. There we go. Using some of our decorative blocks, we can kind of decorate this up and make it look good. So I'm going to take concrete and go ahead and build it out in each. Ooh, oof. Overshot it by a lot. We will go ahead and set this up, and of course, I also want to smooth out some of these edges. And light up these individual quadrants. So to light these up, there are a couple of options. I think the one that would make most sense, though, would probably be the Feral Flare Lantern. I don't love these because they're kind of a cop-out, but this is really a good practice of using them, like a good place to use them. So if I put this down, it's just going to start to light up the entirety of this area. So what I'm going to do for the other farm over here is set up some slabs, because slabs can be waterlogged. I would say that probably polished limestone does look pretty okay. And if I put these here, this will give us a surface to walk on without causing these plants to go thirsty. I don't know why this got untilled. Probably some mob being a jerk. You can see the light is, in fact, starting to spread over into this area, and that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Clearly, this area needs a bit of a fence because it's just being trampled constantly. So what I'll probably do is add a little fencing area. It doesn't have to be perfectly secure. Like, I'm probably not going to do the thing where I like, block off the mob's abilities to hop up here, because I don't think they're really going to care. Like, mob AI is pretty intelligent nowadays, and it's not... It usually doesn't necessitate them to jump up and into a farm. They tend to prefer not to jump, which is kind of my point. So I'm going to just fill in the space here. I'll do this. And then we can, once again, use the building gadget here to build to me. Whoops, did not mean to do that. If you ever do something you don't mean to, you can always come in here and undo it. And that, I think, should do it. Yeah, I definitely like the coloration. So if we wanted to grab some fences, probably should stop flying. Let's take a look at our spruce fence options, because there are some fancy ones, and I would love to kind of look into those as some alternatives. Don't think we need most of these items at this point. Did I make an extra Feral Flare Lantern? I don't remember doing that. So, if we take a look at some of the Macaws Fences, there are a lot of options, and they are really cute. So I'm thinking probably a horse fence, or... that I don't know. Maybe we should just keep it simple with the picket. So we can just go ahead and grab ourselves a couple of stacks of logs, and... come on. Make a couple of these. So these are really cute because they're going to connect together like this and do, like, I don't know. To me, they just look so good. Of course, we're going to decorate this area a little bit as well. So it's not just going to be, you know, like, it's a little bit crude at the moment, right? Like, I'm not just going to leave it like this. I will undo that. We'll grab our handy dandy hoe and try to help out our little farm here. It's trying. And then we'll do just the last few, like so. So yeah, what I was saying is I don't really think that this would be necessary just for the sake of the aesthetic as well. But I definitely really like the look of this. In fact, I may end up doing the same thing over here just because it is so dang cute. It almost feels sort of... it reminds me... oh, hello? Ah, probably just a building gadgets bug. Ooh, come on. That zoom is kind of like the fast flying is kind of annoying. I've been thinking of some other flying opportunities that I tend to like to use when I'm playing because I don't really like angel rings and stuff. If you watch me long enough, you probably already know that anyway. But yeah, just not really my thing. Look at this guy. So yeah, this whole area will get a little bit of help. I may also do a mega torch, actually. Let's see about doing that. The fencing is still extra cute, though. I really do like that. Okay, so I did some cleanup work and just tried to make this whole area look better as a whole. Because it definitely could have used it. Sorry, it looks like we have some guests here. There we go. So, what I've done is if you come here, you've got this cute little, I don't know, I did something with the small little hedges sort of a look. I went through and added a little path for us to follow. That way we know sort of roughly where this guy is. It just kind of makes sense whenever you build something out that there's a logical path to it. So I will probably end up doing the same thing over here, extending this out a little bit, maybe trimming a little bit of this tree, or maybe not, maybe just leaving it to be kind of raggedy, and it'll transition from gravel to just pathway blocks. It'll come around the ravine and head over here. That way there's always a walking path, because I don't like to assume that anything we have is permanent. Like if we die, I don't want my base to be focused around having flight, and then if I die and I don't have flight, then I'm out of luck. Okay, looks like you might need an update. I thought I fixed them all. So I did end up expanding this out one block, so it is sort of what you would expect again. I kind of liked the idea that I had, but I realized I was just being lazy and I didn't want to fill in the ravine and do some terraforming work. So I did some terraforming work. Remember, this is that ravine, and I just covered it and kind of naturally shaped everything, so it actually looks like stuff that I've seen in World Gen before. And a lot of this was terraformed as well. This is probably the only sore spot of mine that I'm not a big fan of, this transition here, but there's not a lot I can do about it, and I'm not going to really sweat all that much over it. It's just not worth it. Not to me. I added a bunch of these little decorative aspen leaves with the... I had lots of these picket fences after tearing down the fencing around this. So I used those to my advantage. And sure, there are still some places that could use some. Like I think really one right here would be good. And those are really easy to put up. So if you haven't seen how I do that, basically all I do is I take these very cute copper lanterns. I really like aspen leaves, so I've been doing these a lot. And I just kind of form a random shape with them. So here I just took a couple, made an L shape, added a piece on top for some noise, and then what I'll do is I'll just have a couple of fences here and there to sort of fill in the visual gaps. Probably another one here would be good. I may even have it sort of flow over a little bit, do something like that. And add a light there too. The lights aren't really necessary, but they're just cute and I like them and they make me happy when I have them around. So that's why I tend to add in the really small little touches like the little copper lanterns. A lot of times what I'll do is if I feel like something is supposed to be blocking you, I may add a couple of extra blocks here and there just to sort of, you know, more thoroughly imply that. Just to sort of give you that idea that you're probably not going to find anything if you go this way. So yeah, that's just sort of how I do these, if you've ever wondered, like, sort of what my thought process is on these when I make them. Is I just sort of come up with a shape. So yeah, overall, I think this really does... Come on, let me fly. This really does look pretty good. Could probably still use lots of work, sure, but I think this is good enough for what it is. You know, it's just an automated little farming area. We're never going to have to be over there. We're not going to need anything from over there ever. Just, you know, going over there for maintenance and possibly sludge. But I really love that our entire little area, our base for this entire season has been, or Let's Play season has been based entirely off of just sort of expanding naturally and letting things grow out and fill in and just kind of, you know, sort of that feel-good style. I don't know. I'm just really tickled with how things are turning out so far. So yeah, I've got some cleanup to do over here, for example. This doesn't need to be as cold as it is anymore, so I think we can probably clean this up, fill it in with this is really taking a while. Fill this back in with some more Phytogrow and some grass. Hello? Oh, this guy has a jukebox. That's frightening. And just make this area feel a little more overgrown, and I don't know, the style that I've come to adopt has really just been kind of overgrown, or I don't know. I think it's sometimes referred to as like cottagecore or whatever. I don't really care. It's just what I find to be comfortable and easy to build with. Just building with a lot of noise, a lot of like extra blocks that are natural and overgrown so that it doesn't have to make sense. It can be kind of noisy and kind of sporadic and random. And I like that style. It really, really works for me. We got boots. Cool. So yeah, let me just fill in this area, and I think we will probably wrap up the episode.